Hi YouTube, it's me again, Sticky Glasses. Today is the 5th of December and last today was my consultation day with the surgeon at the hospital group in Southampton. I was quite worried about it, and I think one of the stupid things I was worried about was not being able to find the place, but I did and it was fine, with a bit of sat-nav help. Welcome to my kitchen, by the way. You're in here because there's not much light in the living room this time of night, especially now I've put the tree up. So it's all a bit twinkly in there, which is pretty, but not that useful for doing a video. Today was really helpful, but really confusing. I think the main thing that today did was definitely solidify the fact that I want to go ahead with some kind of bariatric surgery. I say some kind because the surgeons and the, I don't know what the other person's job was, sales lady probably, they raised the idea of the gastric bypass. Now I've always been thinking about the Lapband all the way along, and I haven't really considered the bypass, so I haven't really done a great deal of research into it. I just got the idea that it was a lot more intrusive and scary, and I didn't want to go down that road. But when I was talking to them today, it was something that the surgeon brought up first, because my kind of problem area in terms of food is sweet things. I love sweet food. Well, I love all food, but cakes and biscuits and chocolate are my real downfall. Crisps and stuff. Cheese, I know, is some people's problems, and alcohol, that don't worry me at all. I'm all about cakes and donuts and pastries and chocolate and all of that stuff. And they were talking about the bypass basically not only stopping hunger for the most part, but actually doing something that means that you don't tend to crave sweet things, and when you have them you get the dumping phenomenon, lovely name, which most of you will know and some of you may not, is about when you eat something that's too sugary or too fatty and you become lightheaded and feel quite nauseous, and it's not a very pleasant experience, and apparently the gastric bypass does that, and by way of deterrent really, so you don't want to eat sweet things or really fatty foods anymore, because it's really unpleasant afterwards, rather than the simple restriction that comes with the band. And they brandished around figures as well, like the band being 30% of help towards you losing the weight, the bypass being 70%. Now 30 to 70% is a lot, you know, that's sort of that's a big chunk of willpower extra that I'm going to need if I have the band, to the willpower that I'd need if I had the bypass. So this was really sort of news to me, and I hadn't really thought about it too much, but it was something that they spoke about quite a bit. Now I should point out, I'm slightly dubious, as with my partner, because the bypass is actually £4,000 more than the band. So clearly, you know, this is a private hospital, and it is in their interests to sell me the more expensive product. Although I don't believe that they would do that or were doing that to the detriment of my health. I think they made valid points about the willpower needed with the band, and that generally speaking the bypass is more successful and takes away the need for quite so much additional willpower. However, I've looked into it a little, not much, not compared to how much I've done in the Lapband, and the more I've thought about it, the more I think I'm still not very comfortable with the idea of a bypass. Now, that isn't in small part due to how much money it is. I was struggling to justify the spending of £6,000, the spending of £10,000. it's just huge. It is just huge. I mean, we're talking, you know, affecting our ability to borrow for a mortgage, huge. So that was a serious factor that I had to think about. But I think the main thing is that, and by their own admission, it is a much higher risk surgery. The potential complications are much higher. The potential for complications during surgery and after surgery are higher. The likelihood that I will need to be on vitamin supplements for the rest of my life are pretty high, and depending on what kind of deficiencies I could end up with, which aren't uncommon with the bypass, I could end up having to have iron injections and multivitamin injections, and potentially suffer from anemia and all kinds of stuff. And as I've mentioned before in videos, I am fundamentally pretty healthy. You know, I don't have any comorbidities. I'm 33 and I'm very overweight, and I have some asthma, but other than that, you know, I'm fine, and I feel like I'd be trading in faster, heftier weight loss for the potential risks in my future health, and I'm not prepared to do that. So the decision I've made is not to look at gastric bypass, but to stick with the Lapband. So I've basically come full circle. I had emailed the lady that I spoke to today to see if there's any possibility of fitting me in between Christmas and New Year. I know it's a bit drastic, but I think it would be a brilliant way to start the new year. And if I couldn't have it done in December, which is probably unlikely, I am going to have to wait till February, because most of my staff are off at various points during January, so it would be too difficult to fit me in. So that really is the discovery of today. Definitely going to have something done. Definitely going to have a Lapband. So it's going to happen, everyone out there. It's definitely going to happen. It's just a case of when now. I want to thank everyone for their comments and emails and things this week. It's been absolutely brilliant. Andrew, thank you very much for the list of UK Lapbanders that you sent me. I've made some new UK friends there, so that's brilliant to go with all of you brilliant people in the US. I think that's it for now. I'm a little bit shell-shocked, so I might do another video tomorrow or a couple of days. It's been a real learning curve for me today, so yeah, I think that's it for now. You all have a good evening or morning, depending on where you are, and I'll catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye.